1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Bonus.
Bonus. I like the bonuses. Okay, well, for my vital issue, I start out with this concept map, and I started with the democracy, and then looked at the different levels of a democracy, and I decided I want to do an issue with like the local level, and then I narrowed it down to the city council. So this issue is one that we've read in the papers recently. The Brainerd City Council has just decided that they'll let Baja manage the arenas, and that's what the topic is tonight. The clock has 10 seconds displaying left on the timer. The puck is in the defensive zone. Defensive Mentoff passes it to the right wing Johnny. Johnny speeds down the ice into the offensive zone, quickly outmaneuvering any of the other players. All eyes are on him. 3 seconds remaining on the clock. It's a tied game. Johnny passes it to the center, Ross, who is right in front of the net. He smacks it in. It looks like we won another game. I'm describing one of the hockey games we've just played recently here in Brainerd. Over the past few months, we've been fortunate to be able to rent the ice at the Brainerd Civic Center for a very affordable price. However, in the article, Baja Gets Control of the Arena by Matt Erickson in Tuesday's edition of the Brainerd Daily Dispatch, we can read that the city will no longer be operating the arena. I've helped to coordinate these games on a couple of different occasions, and it has always been a pleasure and a joy to work with the staff at the City of Brainerd. These types of games may no longer be possible here in Brainerd. Today I'd like to talk to you about the financial conditions that have brought the arena to the situation it's into today, why it made sense for the Brainerd City Council to vote the way it did, and what this means for us, the skaters at the rink. The arenas have been struggling financially for years. First, let's look at why they haven't seen a profit in years. According to council member Bob Olson, several of the employees in the arena make around $30 an hour. He believes this amount is much too high for the arena and contributes greatly to the great expenses of it. Currently, the rate for ice time is around $120 per hour depending on when you rent it, and many people think that raising the rates would also bring in more revenue. Second, let's look at how much the taxpayer has been supplying or subsidizing to keep the arena afloat. Mary Cope, another council member on the Brainerd City Council, told me in an interview yesterday that the city spent over $300,000 to keep the arenas afloat last year. Bob Olson also commented on the large amount of money, saying that it was really a burden on the taxpayer. Now that we know the financial difficulties that the arena is facing, let's take a look at why it made sense for the council to vote for a third party to operate them. The council voted 5-2 to allow Baja to operate the arenas on Monday. This decision made sense for two reasons. First, the city couldn't manage the arena. Olson said it best when he said there are just too many variations of opinions and personalities in the city to manage the arena. From the articles in the paper lately and from what we've heard on the talk show hosts, I think we would all agree with this. Next, the biggest advantage to the council's vote is that the arenas will no longer be a burden to the taxpayer. According to the contract being drawn up, Baja will have complete management of the arenas, and the city will have no obligation to pump any money into them. In yet another interview with another council member, Ann Nelson Fisher, told me that the biggest advantage of having a third party manage the arenas would be that the city would no longer have to subsidize any of the activities that happen there. Now that we understand the financial problem the arena is in and why it made sense for the city to vote for a third party to operate it, let's look at how it affects us, the skaters there. One thing is certain, at the very least the rink needs to break even. This might affect us in such a way that we will no longer be able to afford the ice. In an email interview with Mike Blanche, president of Baja, he said raising the rates of the ice time may be one way they will be able to make the arena more profitable. With many of us going to school, the extra cost might force us to find another rink to skate on. The other possibility to achieve lower costs would be to restaff the arena. Although this wouldn't adversely affect the game we play there, we would notice some deterioration of the facility, probably just because the staff that have employed there now have been there for many years and know the ins and outs of the place. Volunteers may also be used to help cut some costs, and the same would be the case with the volunteers. While the changes remain to be seen, it's fairly safe to bet that we'll have a slightly different skating experience next time we go to rent the ice. For years we have enjoyed our thrilling hockey games, but perhaps the time has come we will have to look elsewhere for affordable ice. Today we have discussed the financial shape the arena is in, why it made sense for the council to vote the way it did, and what it means for us, the skaters. Although we have had many hours of exhausting pleasure on the ice here in Brainerd, the good news is that even if it becomes too expensive for us to skate here in Brainerd, we can always look back on the games we played and relive them in our memories to the fullest.